Hello, I'm Simran Vilecha, a finance geek and a self-proclaimed foodie, and I've been investing in the US stock market for over 10 years now. I've made a lot of money for myself and my clients. So if you're looking to multiply your money, make sure you subscribe to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some biotech stocks that are undervalued. So the first one on my list is Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Vertex is a global biotechnology company that invests in scientific innovation to create transformative medicines for people with serious and life-threatening diseases. It's a leader in treating cystic fibrosis. They have 4 approved medicines and is now actively diversifying in new segments. The company is very R&D focused with 70% of its operating expenses and 3/5 of its employees working solely with R&D. What is cystic fibrosis though? It's a rare, chronic, life-shortening genetic disease and it can be diagnosed through newborn screening programs or during the first few years of life. Many newborns are screened with a blood test taken soon after the baby is born. This diagnosis is confirmed with a sweat test. Genetic testing can identify the mutations. CF is caused by the mutations in the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator gene, which results in a defect or reduction in the amount of CFTR protein that the body makes. The defective or missing CFTR protein in the body results in poor flow of salt and water into and out of the cells in a number of organs, including the lungs. This leads to a build-up of abnormally thick, sticky mucus that can cause chronic lung infections and progressive damage to the lungs. Vertex advanced the first of these potential medicines into clinical development in 2006. Since then, 4 innovative medicines have become available to certain eligible people with CF as they continue to discover and develop medicines for potentially all people with CF. It's also working closely with one of the leaders of gene editing, CRISPR Therapeutics. They're working on a sickle cell disease therapy, beta thalassemia, and type 1 diabetes treatment. Finally, they also have a treatment for pain in phase 3, a $4 billion market dominated currently by opioids. Non-opioid alternatives would command premium pricing and be of interest to the medical profession at large. Diabetes is by far the largest potential market for Vertex treatment, 2.5 million just in Europe and North America, and one without any treatment currently. The story of the diabetes treatment development is interesting as this is clearly one major focus for the company. First, they acquired Sema in 2019, then they acquired ViaCyte, the competitor of Sema in 2022, with ViaCyte already in a deal to co-develop their treatment with CRISPR Therapeutics. This plays right with the strengths of Vertex. This was followed by an extra agreement between CRISPR and Vertex to keep improving the product and approval for new clinical trials. Their clinical portfolio is broad, diverse, and rapidly advancing. Expanding leadership in CF and raising the bar with serious innovation is going to be a game changer for the company. In terms of financials, their revenue from CF alone increased from $2.37 billion in Q1 of 2023 to $2.69 billion in Q1 of 2024. They also had an operating margin of 50%, which increased from 38% in Q1 of 2023. They have multiple catalysts in 2024, so this stock is a definite buy. The second one on my list is Merck & Co. At its core, Merck is a technology company that goes beyond just pharmaceuticals. For example, it has a semiconductor offer which is equally useful for many biotech equipment like DNA readers. It also controls Sigma Aldrich, a leading supplier of laboratory and testing materials and consumables, which is a part of a broader life science offering, which relies on 59 manufacturing sites and proposes 300,000 products. The company has an ambitious R&D roadmap with one new pharmaceutical launch every 1.5 years. This includes the potential of a new therapeutic method for cancer relying on targeted DNA disruption. The company has 80 phase 2 programs, 30 phase 3 programs, and 10 that are under review. Q1 2024 results reflect continued strong growth in oncology and vaccines. The company announced Q1 worldwide sales of $15.8 billion with an increase of 9% from Q1 of 2023. They also received FDA approval for Winrevair, a first-in-class treatment for adults with pulmonary arterial hypertension. They also made meaningful regulatory and clinical progress across other therapeutic areas, including oncology, vaccines, and infectious diseases. They've expanded their pipeline and portfolio through business development, including completed acquisition of Harpoon and proposed acquisition of Elanco's aqua business. In oncology, Keytruda continued to demonstrate its role as a foundation therapy for certain types of cancers, receiving the first approval in Europe for an anti-PD-1L1 therapy as a part of treatment regimen for adult patients with resectable NSCLC at a high risk of recurrence. In addition, the FDA granted priority review to a new supplemental biologics license application that would establish Keytruda as the first immunotherapy indicated for the frontline treatment of advanced endometrial cancer, regardless of DNA mismatch repair status. In vaccines, Merck shared positive data from multiple phase 3 studies evaluating V116, the company's investigational 21-valent pneumococcal conjugate vaccine designed for adults. If approved, V116 would be the first of its kind designed to address the serotypes responsible for approximately 83% of invasive pneumococcal diseases in adults of 65 and older. Merck also announced its plan to initiate clinical development of new investigational multivalent HPV vaccine designed to provide broader protection against certain types of cancers and diseases caused by additional HPV types, as well as plans to conduct clinical trials in both females and males to evaluate the efficacy and safety of a single dose regimen. On June 17, the FDA approved Merck's Keytruda plus carboplatin and paclitaxel as treatment for adult patients with primarily advanced or recurrent endometrial carcinoma. Keytruda is now the first and only anti-PD-1 therapy FDA approved in combination with chemotherapy for adult patients with primary advanced or recurrent endometrial carcinoma regardless of mismatch repair status. The US FDA also approved Capvaxive for prevention of invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumococcal pneumonia in adults. On June 25th, USDA approved Merck Animal Health's Novivac Next Canine Flu H3N2, the first and only RNA particle technology vaccine for canine influenza. On June 28th, Merck received positive EU CHMP opinion for Winrevair in pulmonary arterial hypertension. On July 9th, Merck Animal Health also completed the acquisition of Elanco's aqua business. And on July 12th, they completed the acquisition of iBio. They are also one of the first few biotech companies using generative AI in drug discovery. With so much going on within the company, so many launches just at the corner, the stock is only growing one way. The next on my list is MGTX. They're a vertically integrated clinical stage gene therapy company with 6 ongoing clinical programs and a broad pipeline of preclinical and research programs. They have core capabilities in viral vector design and optimization and gene therapy manufacturing, as well as a potentially transformative gene regulation technology. This potentially transformative riboswitch gene regulation platform technology allows for precise, dose-responsive control of gene expression by oral small molecules. The company is focusing on the riboswitch platform on delivery of metabolic peptides, including GLP-1s, GIP, glucagon, and PYY using oral small molecules, as well as cell therapy for oncology and autoimmune diseases. Although initially focusing on the eye, central nervous system, and salivary gland, the company has developed technology to apply genetic medicine to more common diseases, increasing the efficacy, addressing novel targets, and expanding access in some of the largest disease areas where the unmet needs remain great. They've received positive data from phase 1 of AquaX study in radiation-induced xerostomia presented in an oral session at the American Academy of Oral Medicine 2024 annual meeting. They received a $50 million milestone following initiation of the extension study for phase 3 Lumios clinical trial for Botavec for the treatment of XLRP. Clinical development milestones met and remain on track for the rest of the year for AAV-HAQP1 for RIX, Botavec for XLRP, and AAV-GAD for Parkinson's disease. In their Q1 results, they spoke about the technology that allows the in vivo production of novel peptides, for example, those that directly regulate muscle mass and fat accumulation. The ability to deliver any combination of peptides in a controlled physiological time frame with oral small molecules that has the potential to address many of the issues that arise with current therapies in obesity and diabetes, including significant enhanced efficacy, improved tolerability, improved muscle mass, and prevention of the regain of fat. Importantly, the technology also decreases the manufacturing burden of peptides since the body produces peptides in vivo in response to oral small molecules. This is going to be 10x more in demand than the current GLP-1 drugs on the market. Just for comparison's sake, Eli Lilly was trading somewhere around the $420 mark in May of 2023 before they got FDA approval for Mounjaro, and today it's trading somewhere around $950. So imagine how much Mira GTX is going to grow. The last one for this video, but not the last one on my biotech undervalued stock list, is GenMab. The company develops antibody therapeutics for the treatment of cancer and other diseases primarily in Denmark. The company markets Darzalex, a human monoclonal antibody for the treatment of patients with multiple myeloma, teprotumumab for the treatment of thyroid eye disease, and amivantabab for advanced or metagastric gastric or esophageal cancer and NSCLC. They have 8 approved medicines, including GenMab's innovation, 4 proprietary technologies, and 9 proprietary antibody products in clinical development. In their previous quarter, the US FDA granted priority review for supplemental biologics license application for Epkilin for the treatment of adult patients with relapse or refractory follicular lymphoma after 2 or more lines of systematic therapy with a prescription drug user-free act. Evaluating epcoritamab in combination with rituximab and lenalidomide compared to chemoimmunotherapy in previously untreated follicular lymphoma. The US FDA also approved for priority review the sBLA seeking to convert the accelerated approval of Tividac to full approval for the treatment of patients with recurrent or metastatic cervical cancer with disease progression on or after first-line therapy. The company's revenue increased 46% compared to the first quarter of 2023 to Danish krone 4143 million. They also have an extensive pipeline of drugs that are in their phase 3 and under review, so this stock is just going to blow up from here. I'm also going to be sharing some information on what price you should enter at and what price target I see for the next quarter for this company. Make sure you read the description below and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in multiplying your money. Bye.